It can only be produced for about 4 to 6 weeks per year. It's more valuable than oil, selling at over $30 a gallon, and it's by far the best topping for vanilla ice cream. Okay, well that might be just my opinion, but don't knock it till you try it. I'm talking about maple syrup. Real, pure maple syrup. Not that imitation corn syrup stuff. I'm talking about what comes right out of the tree, and today I'm going to show you how it's done, step by step, right from the tap to your table. Step 1. We need to identify which trees are maple trees. During the spring, summer, and early fall, the best thing to do is spot your maple trees by the shape of their leaves. If you mark each tree with spray paint or an orange ribbon, you'll still be able to spot them in late winter when all the leaves are gone. If you didn't find them by looking at the leaves, you'll have to resort to comparing trees based on their bark, branches, and buds. A quick way to rule out most trees is by knowing that all maple trees have opposite branching, not alternate. From there, the easiest thing to do is look at the buds. If you can reach them from the ground, that makes it ideal, but a pair of binoculars will let you see buds that are further up. Remember, you can tap any type of maple tree, not just sugar maples. However, sugar maples do have the highest ratio of sugar to water. Step 2. In mid-February to early March, it's time to tap those trees. Tap the south or southeast facing side of your trees, the sides that get the most sun and warmth. The tree must be at least 10 inches in diameter to tap. If it is larger than 20 inches across, you can install 2 taps staggered at least 6 inches apart. And if the tree is more than 2 feet in diameter, you can use 3 taps. Choose the correct size drill bit to go with your tap, or spile as it's called, and drill at a slight upward angle. Drill in to a depth of 2 inches for 7/16 inch spiles and 1.5 inches for 5/16 inch spiles. Insert the tap into the hole and gently hammer it in until you hear it seat in and stop moving. If you choose a warm day to tap, which is preferable, there's a good chance you'll see sap dripping from the hole before you even get a chance to get the tap in place. Step 3. With the spile inserted into the tree, hang your bucket, bag, or connect rubber tubing to your collection device. If you're not sure which method of collecting sap you'll want to use, check out my video about how to collect sap. I go a lot further in depth into each different method of collecting, which one I prefer, and where to get the supplies. The link to that video will be in the description below. Step 4. Now we wait. The slow drip may look like it'll take a while, but it does add up in a hurry. Step 5. You'll want to keep an eye on the weather and keep an eye on your buckets. If the temperatures stay below freezing at night and come up well above 32 degrees Fahrenheit during the day, your sap should be flowing. Collect the sap at least once a day. Store it sealed inside a food-grade barrel or bucket in a cool, shaded area. If the temperatures are creeping up, you might pack snow around the outside of your bucket to keep it cool, or refrigerate it if needed. And only keep sap for a week to 10 days at the most before boiling. After that amount of time, you run the risk of it going sour. Step 6. It's time to boil. Now, on average, 40 gallons of sap will boil down to 1 gallon of syrup. But you can do a batch with as little or as much sap as you've collected. You'll want to begin the boiling process outside, because with the amount of water vapor that will be created, it can do a lot of damage to the inside of your kitchen. You can use propane, wood, or anything else you've got. You just need to get it boiling. A shallower pan with more surface area will boil down quicker than a deep pot. Both will work, but a pan that has more surface area will just go a lot quicker. Step 7. As you pour sap into your pans, strain it through cheesecloth or filters to remove debris and sediment. Keep a close watch as the water boils away. When the level gets low in your pan, add more sap and just keep replenishing it until you're out. As the water boils off, the sap that remains in the pan will begin to appear yellow. That's a good thing. Occasionally use a skimmer to remove foam off the top. This contains impurities, so you might as well get it out now. You should be boiling at around 212 degrees right now, and it'll pretty much stay there until all the water is boiled off. Step 8. When you're out of sap, and everything you've been boiling has greatly reduced, the temperature will start increasing past 212, and now you have to keep a very close eye on things. This is when most people will bring the pan inside and finish it on their kitchen stove. You can finish it outside, and it's not too difficult, especially if you're using propane. But if you finish it inside, it's just a lot less chance for things to go wrong. It's usually easier to transfer to a small pan or a pot, and this gives you a second chance to filter the syrup. Step 9. Now you want to keep checking the temperature as it climbs. Bubbles will form as it boils, but when you notice the bubbles becoming bigger and rounder and less foam-like, you're really close to being done. You'll notice the consistency changing too, as it becomes less watery and more syrup-like. Just don't let it boil over, because that sure does make a mess. Step 10. This step is sort of optional, but I like to do it myself just to make sure things are going okay. You use a hydrometer or a refractor, and you check the sugar content of your syrup. We're aiming for 66 to 68.9% on the Brix scale. Below 66% and the syrup will be too watery and thin. Above 69% and you risk crystallization. However, as you're getting into this range for sugar content, you can't let the temperature get past 219 degrees, or 7 degrees above the boiling point of water if you're at a higher elevation. It's 219 for most places, but if you are at a higher elevation, you'll just want to make sure that you're at 7 degrees above the boiling point of water. Step 11. We're just about done. When you've tested the sugar content as being within the proper range and the temperature is at 219 degrees, shut off the stove and remove that pan from the heat. Step 12. Allow the syrup to cool in the pan to about 190 degrees. Then filter the syrup one last time as you pour it into jars or containers. If you're using mason jars, the lid will seal as the syrup cools inside the jar, with no need for canning or anything else. Step 13. Pour it all over that vanilla ice cream, baby. Oh boy. As I mentioned earlier, I do have another video that goes into more depth about collection techniques, as well as a little of the science and the history behind this liquid gold. In the future, I'm sure we'll be doing more videos related to maple syrup, so we'll update the description with those links as we go. But the best way to find out about more videos on our channel is to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Make sure to give us a thumbs up, share this with your friends, and if you have any questions or thoughts, don't hesitate at all to leave us a comment down below. One last thing before you go. You may be wondering what the connection would be between a prepping channel and maple syrup. More likely than not, if you weren't already a subscriber to our channel, YouTube brought you here to learn about maple syrup, not prepping. But before you close the video and call me crazy, or ask me where my tinfoil hat is, just hear me out. If you're a prepper or survivalist already, this is old news to you. But if you're not a prepper, or maybe even never heard of the term, I'd like to invite you to look around our channel and see what we're all about. We're not here to fearmonger, we're not all doom and gloom, and we're not crazy, well, most of the time. We focus more on being self-sufficient than on yelling at you and telling you the world is going to end. We spend our time learning skills that keep us independent, and we enjoy sharing our experiences with our viewers. We've got all kinds of videos on stocking up, on gardening, DIY projects, cooking, food preservation, and now, as you know, making maple syrup. It's all things you can do to stay self-sufficient and independent, which is exactly what we Mainers are known best for. Well, that, and I guess for our lobsters, pine trees, and well, probably that funny way we have of talking. Some folks, they say they can't understand a word we say, but I just don't get it. All sounds normal to me. Alright, well, this video is drawing to a close, and my accent is getting thicker than that maple syrup. So I guess it's about time to wrap this up. Yep, so get out there and get sugaring, bub. Yes, sir. I'm Rob with Wicked Prepared. Survive today, thrive tomorrow. We'll see you next time, folks.